What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Trove video. In this video, I've made videos like this in the past, but I'm making an updated one right now. And I'm basically just going to be talking about 5-star dungeon grinding and how I'm doing it currently. And as it stands right now, I pretty much do everything completely solo when it comes to 5-star dungeon grinding. Like, obviously, it is a lot faster when you go with a group, but I don't know. Me personally, I like to grind them solo. It just feels more rewarding, I guess, and it's more fun in my opinion. And usually for 5-star dungeon grinding, I usually like to go to the actual long shade world versus going to, D15 Geo topside. But, you do what you want pretty much. I guess if you go to D15 top side, you can also, I would recommend going there if you're trying to grind the cosmic gym boxes, if you're trying to work on your gyms. But personally, I would probably recommend going to here, even though it probably doesn't really make that much of a difference, but it's whatever. But anyways, so for the actual grinding as well, obviously I'm pretty much just running the same build that I've always had, of course, Permatorch, Mystic, because I am currently trying to work on Mystic as of right now. So yeah, I have been kind of mainly on the 5-star dungeon grinding at the moment. And of course, I'm just using Boomeranger as always. I'm a little bit of a meta slave, if I'm being honest. I mostly run Boomer and Shadow Hunter for my classes. But like I said, and like I will always say, pretty much just play the class you enjoy. Like, it don't matter, just whatever. If it works, fine, and you can solo everything just fine. I would recommend getting like a damage class like Boomer and like a speed farming class. So you do what you want, if you, like I said, you just play the class you want and you can use that for especially with the new update, it is a lot easier to grind. It made this whole area a lot easier than it was before, for sure. If you were completely maxed before, you could do everything pretty easily, but it's definitely a lot more. It's a lot more easier to one shot here now than it was before. So yeah, and like I will always say as well, well, not always say, but I will say I recommend getting to 13k light before you try and attempt a solo 5-star dungeons and D15. I'd recommend, yeah, getting 13k light makes a huge difference for sure. Now, ways I recommend getting to 13k light is obviously I would recommend getting the repel rune for your auto use slot, and you want to go to the rune crafting bench and you want to scroll down and you want to get to rune carver, so that way you can actually craft the repel runes, because these are probably the best food item in Trove as of right now, just because of the 450 light, and they are cheap as hell to get. They are really easy to get just as long as you get to this point in the profession, the rune crafting profession. So you want to do that as well to get yourself the 13k light. And obviously the litany buff, which I've talked about many of times before, so I even made a short about it. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can. So yeah, definitely get your weekly light buff. And also a really good way is just to get Berserk Battler for your empowered cosmic gem, which everyone pretty much uses. You pretty much always want to use Berserk Battler for 5-star dungeon grinding. Oh well, you can use like Vampiric as well if you really want to, Vampiric Vanquisher. But I especially recommend Berserk Battler, especially if you're not 13k base light. Like if you're not quite 13k base light and you want to get to that, you can just use Berserk Battler, and you most likely are able to reach 13k light, which is really good as well. So yeah, that's some stuff you definitely want to have for 5-star dungeon grinding. Another big thing you want for 5-star dungeon grinding as well is if we go to the rune anvil, you want to get this node right here, the Zephyr Cunning, because this actually makes it to where you can get the hold on, let me show you. You can get these out of the 5-star dungeons, the Encrusted Runic Trunk, which obviously contains all the resources for Mystic gear and stuff like that. So yeah, it makes it a lot easier, and you can get quite a few as well, just by, like, if you just grinded 5-star dungeons for like a solid hour or so, you could accumulate quite a few of these as well, so that's really good. And they made 5-star dungeons in D15, like, quite a lot better than they were before, especially now, because you can get Souls of the Depths from the 5-star dungeons as well. And another thing as well, you want to make sure you're crafting your weekly sparkling keys as well, because they give like multiple, like 4 Depths cores and like multiple extra Souls of the Depths and encrusted runic trunks as well. So yeah, you want to make sure you're crafting those, because I'm so glad that they did this, that they made it a lot better, because before, like, it would just give you like 2 extra depth cores, which is just barely anything at all. And yeah, like I said, you can get Souls of the Depths out of the 5-star dungeons now. So you probably don't even really have to do the depths delves anymore, which, thank God. I mean, it's probably recommended to do depths delves, but yeah, like I said, you pretty much could just grind everything out of the 5-star dungeons if you really wanted to, you know, stuff like that. Another thing as well, another thing I forgot to mention for light as well is the Solarian subclass. Definitely want to get the Solarian subclass. It has a good ability, and obviously if you have it at max level, it will give you 140 extra light. So yeah, if you're trying to get as much light as possible, yeah, Solarian subclass for sure. And then on all your cosmic gems, you want to make sure you have all your boost into light, and make sure you have 3-star gems as well. You don't want a gem with 2 pearls. So yeah, definitely check for that. That could be a reason why you might be lacking in certain stats and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say for soloing 5 stars. Let me know if I've missed anything. Well, I don't really know, but I might have missed something, but you know, just basically, oh yeah, you could use, I guess I could talk about the ally a little bit as well. You could use Scorpius, which is what I'm always using. I'm pretty much always using Scorpius, but another recommended one that I recommend as well is the Fire Mana Beast, which is pretty similar to Scorpius. I think it just does a little bit more extra damage than Scorpius does. It's less light, but it doesn't really matter, especially you have quite a bit of light already. So yeah, that's another recommended one as well. You definitely want some like good damage allies if you're trying to do 5-star dungeon grinding, but honestly, I'd recommend either that or Scorpius. Like, those are definitely the 2 big ones I recommend if you're trying to do 5-star dungeon grinding. Like I said, if you're not quite there yet, if you don't quite have the stuff to solo 5-star dungeons by yourself, I'd recommend just joining some popular clubs and just waiting for people to host 5-star dungeon farming, 5-star dungeon groups. And then you can just join off those, and if there's enough people there, they're probably, I mean, if you're low level and you're like just trying to get stuff, they're not gonna care if you're sitting there leeching. I would recommend just like kind of waiting at the bottom of the dungeon for everyone to complete it. And then yeah, so that's basically all I recommend. So I will see you guys later. Peace.